and welcome to another video in our series. Our project this time is painting this wooden fence. You can probably see, and I'll show you a little bit later, it's having some signs of wear and tear, and we want to go ahead and give it another coat of paint. But before we do that, we want to prep the surface. And in this case, since we're outside and it's a wooden fence, we're going to take advantage and use a pressure washer. So let's talk a little bit about the use of the pressure washer. First of all, you got to make sure that you are protected and using safety equipment. So we like to use some goggles, some ear protection, because it is kind of a loud motor. It makes quite a bit of noise. Now the pressure washer obviously involves the, in this case, it's a gasoline powered motor. There are some that are electrical. And there's several components to it. One is the motor. We'll talk about starting that and how to use that. You have the water hose, which we'll turn in a second. And of course, you also have the pressure wand, which is what actually you control and what gives you the high pressure. With the wand, you have several parts to it. Very important is the tip, and you have several choices of the tips that you want to use or you can use. In this particular case, we're using one that spreads out 25 degrees. You have everything from 0, which is a straight shot, very, very powerful, then 15, 25, and then to 40 degrees. And that all depends on basically how wide the angle you want and how much force you want to use. You want to be very careful with these pressure washers because they do have quite a bit of force. You want to make sure you're wearing shoes and not hit your toes or anything like that. It will hurt. And you also want to be very careful how close you get to the surface. If you get too close, you do have the ability to take some of the paint away, take some of the surface off, basically. This is a 2600 PSI pressure washer, and it works extremely well. So let's go ahead and see how it works. So here's a close-up of some of the parts of the pressure washer. First thing you always want to do is you always want to check that it does have oil in it. You would unscrew this and see what how much oil is in there. You got to make sure it does have oil. Exhaust, you want to make sure you don't touch that once it's actually functioning. And over here is the gas tank, and we have checked that and know that there's gas in there. Here you have the water hose coming in that goes into the pressure washer, and of course here comes the water comes out and into the wand for the actual application. And here's a little bit of the different tips that can be used. 0 degrees, 15 degrees, of course we're using the 25 degrees, and then you can use 40 degrees, and then if you just want to apply soap you can use the one at the bottom. And that's pretty much how the pressure washer works. Before we actually started, we want to turn the water on, and let's go ahead and do that. I turned the water on already, the water supply into the pressure washer, and we're going to go ahead and give it a start. Just have an on-off switch right here, so we'll turn that on and we'll pull the choke. So we're done with the pressure washing, and we left the wood dry completely, so it's now ready for the application of the paint. We've also, you can see we've covered some of the hardware. Not completely, because it's easy to edge around here with the brush if you're careful, but some of the harder areas we've actually done with the tape so that it's easier to apply the paint and then the cleanup as well. To get the paint on, we're going to use a GBS 2.5-inch angle sash brush. It's great for getting into all the corners and also getting into the spaces in between the two boards. Keep in mind that since we're applying with latex paint, water-based paint, we're going to use a synthetic brush. And if you want to know more about that, you can look at another video that we have on our website as well. For the flatter areas, we're actually going to use a 4-inch nylon high-capacity roller with a short frame. We don't need a lot of reach because it's a pretty short fence. And this is great for all of the flatter areas where we're going to need to put the paint on. So we're going to load up the containers and start painting. For the application, we like to use always some kind of a hand bucket or something like that. It's very easy to hold. This one happens to be the handy paint pail. You can also use the gallon paint can, just a little bit harder to move around. So you can see the 4-inch high-capacity roller is very efficient, very easy to put the paint on, it doesn't splatter. You just have to make sure it's really, really loaded before you do it.